Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles. Along with me is over my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, gunner, navigator, orator, and podcasting associate, Jacob Goloth. How you doing today, Jacob?
I am okay, Charlie. How are you?
I'm fine. Well, why are you just okay? Tell me all about your problems.
Well, because I wrote this pitch this morning, and I had a lot of trouble coming up with an idea. So you gave me the title, The Burner, right? My first thought was a burner phone. Okay, that was my immediate.
That was my first thought.
Immediate thought, burner phone. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I started writing a pitch about a guy who it was essentially kind of like a Moon Knight sort of thing, where he is like just a normal dude living his life, but at night he's actually a hitman, but he has no idea that he is. And he has a burner phone in his apartment. And that's how he eventually discovers that he's the secret hitman. And there's going to be a whole plot and all that stuff. And then I remembered that like 3 shows ago, I did a guy who's also another guy. And then 5 shows before that, I did a guy who's also another guy. So I can't keep doing shows where a guy is also another guy. It's not tenable, guy. You know? It's not working out.
It's one of your favorite tropes. And I do like it quite a bit. But maybe you're right.
I couldn't do that again.
Maybe. Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, what if it was some sort of like space thing where there's like essentially a Human Torch like guy? And then I thought, because I had given you a title, that you were going to do Space Cowboys. So I was like, I can't do space. You did not do Space Cowboys. You did World War I Cowboys.
World War I Ghost Cowboy.
So I have none of those shows essentially.
All right, that's fine.
I'm going to ask for a suffix change for my title here. Instead of the burner, can I do the burning?
All right, I will allow it this time.
Okay.
This time and this time alone.
Very nice. We are in a fantasy universe here. All
right.
On the edge of a giant inferno. I'll explain that in a second. So, I'll give you the characters first, and then we'll get into everything else. The main characters that we're going to have that you're going to see are Horatio Ball, who we're going to call Hort for short. Horatio Ball is Hort is a 15 to 17-year-old kid, 15 to start, 17 by the end of the show. He's a very young, impressionable squire who is a bit of an idiot but has a lot of heart. He's kind of like Finn the Human from Adventure Time. And he desperately wants to save the princess. We'll get into that in a second, what the princess is and all that. Now, he's a squire, so there has to be a knight, obviously, and that is Sir John French, who's a very poised and strong knight who looks after Hort. He's very well-mannered and likes, very civilized things, but can be a little childish for Hort's sake. When I say he likes civilized things, it's like, he likes to, if he's going to have dinner, he's going to set the table, he's going to put his fork on the left side, his knife on the right side. Very civilized man.
Badminton. Yeah.
Then we have Diana Strange, who's a experienced but not incredibly amazing magician. She's specialized in forest magic, so she can control plants and green things. And
wait, a sorcerer with the last name Strange? Where'd you get that idea from?
I honestly didn't even think about that until just now. So, anyway,
keep going, sorry.
She wants to stop the burning. We'll get into what the burning is in a second and reforest the area. She hates civilization and prefers the woods. So her and John French kind of have like a adversarial outlooks on life. He likes civilization. He likes neat tables and eating inside, and she likes, picking berries and eating those, that kind of thing. But they'll end up becoming very close. Then we have Nog.
They're gonna kiss.
Nog. Nog is a mad dwarf who doesn't speak the same language as everyone else, so he just says the word Nog in different ways. He's very brave and seemingly smart, but also kind of a maniac. Smart in like a tactical sense, because again, he only says the word Nog.
Nog.
Then we have Priscilla Younger. Priscilla Younger is a early 30s, so around the same age as Mr. John French, and they're good friends. So she's a King's Ranger who was away when the burning ignited. So again, I'll explain that in a second. She hates herself for not being there when it happened, and she's good friends with Mr. French because after the burning ignited, which again I'll explain in a second. She got really sad and depressed and just drank herself to death. But John came in and was like, "Hey, you shouldn't do that." And hooray, now they're friends.
And now they're besties.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in the intro for the show, we're going to get the explanation of what the burning is. So the intro of the show is going to be like this is an animated show, by the way, a super exciting, cool animation with heavy metal music playing. And the heavy metal music is going to explain, like, the lyrics of the song is going to be about, like, what happened. So,
oh, I love that.
We'll see.
I always love that in shows.
In the intro, we'll see a giant, sprawling fantasy metropolis that was where the evil wizard and the king's sorcerer, his name's Triaxabal, is using magic to control the king. So sort of like Lord of the Rings, controlling the King of Rohan.
Power of the Rings. Yeah.
No. But yes, the kingdom's princess Lyanna discovers this, but is banished, and she returns with an army. And as she's about to slay the wizard, there's a massive explosion, and there's fire everywhere, and everything explodes all around the kingdom, the whole city. It's not really clear what exactly happened. She's like, the sword's coming down on his face, and then the explosion happens, and the whole kingdom and like the area surrounding it is engulfed in a giant inferno. So now it kind of looks like this Mordor hellish landscape where there's fire everywhere and there's big clouds of smoke and dust, and there's all these crazy monsters in it. So we open the show at the edge of the inferno at an inn called the Burning Tree.
One thing.
Yeah.
I just, as a quick suggestion for the awesome fucking rad-ass heavy metal opening sequence, I think we should get Tenacious D to write and perform the song. If you don't know, that's Jack Black and Kyle's band.
Yeah, that
I
works.
think they'd be perfect.
I've never listened to any of their music, so I don't really know, but I assume they're good. So we open at the edge of the inferno at an inn called the Burning Tree, as I just said. Hort, Priscilla, and John arrive. Priscilla immediately heads inside to get a drink. She's tired, long trip. And while Hort, very heroically but also idiotically, just sprints right into the flames of the big circular inferno.
Hort.
And John grabs him by like the scruff of his neck and yanks him backward, and he's like, "We gotta, come on, there's stuff we gotta do before we go in. It's not time yet." They go into the inn, and there's a collection of warriors and vagabonds and loungeabouts waiting for the low season. The low season is when the fires aren't quite as bad, which is the winter. So it's right now, like in the summer and the spring, the fires are like really intense and really hot, and if you go in there, you'll probably die pretty quickly. When I say it's on fire, by the way, it's like not all completely on fire. It's not like they're walking through fire. There's a couple of fires, but like the whole air is kind of like just filled with smoke and soot, and it's just not a place you can really get into.
Yeah, I figured it was like that town in I think it's in New Mexico, that is like built on top of a mine, and the mine caught fire, and so there's like the entire mine is just burning, and this entire town's completely uninhabitable because of all the fumes and chemicals and fire that's coming up. Or that, something like that. One of those, like, huge infernos under the ground that makes the land uninhabitable.
And it doesn't really, make complete sense, because obviously this is like a spell. This whole area is like under a magical spell that is making it inhospitable. So it's not like, we don't need, it's not literally on fire. It's not, I mean, it is partially literally on fire, but it's, it's more about like the spell that is making this area. Because it's also perfectly, like the lines are perfect. Like the edge of the inferno, it just cuts straight to green grass. Like there's no slow creeping into the desolation. It's just instant. And it's not growing. It's not getting smaller. It's just staying the exact same size at all times. And it's been like that for a couple of years.
Okay, cool.
So the John and Hort are inside. They're talking with the innkeeper, and they're explaining to Hort that that we can't go in yet until the low season hits. And the innkeeper said that despite this, some idiots will wander into the burning anyway. And he mentions a forest wizard who ventured in yesterday, despite his warnings. Hort, immediately hearing that someone is in danger, wants to go in and help her out. John is more hesitant and is asking the innkeeper more questions like, who is she? Where did she go in exactly? Trying to get more details about who this wizard is and where they went, and if they actually need help, or if they were just going in and then back out, or what the situation is. Elsewhere in the bar, Priscilla is enjoying her beer quietly, just sort of relaxing, when a dwarf comes up to her and keeps repeating his name. So this is Nog. She tells him to go away, but he just keeps it up, just saying his name over and over again. And as we cut back to Sir John, who's still questioning the bartender, but behind him we can see Hort sneaking out, and he ventures into the burning alone in search of the missing forest wizard. So it's he's in the thick of it. It's a hellish, burning, terrible, massive place full of soot, smoke, fires, and strange creatures. It's like Mordor, obviously.
Yeah.
And the further he goes in, the more he coughs and feels weak. So he's breathing in all these toxic gases and smoke. Not good. Back at the bar, French realizes that Hort snuck out and grabs Priscilla to chase him down. They take some fire potions to help them with the heat. So, that's essentially how they can manage this, the toxic gases and the intense pain of the heat in the whole area is that, magic potions, which, of course, Hort didn't bother to learn about. He just, ran right into the thick of it to go save this person without thinking about himself. Hort, tired and exhausted, is now forced to fight this giant fire worm. So picture a worm, except it breathes fire like a dragon, except it's just a long worm.
I think it'd be funny if it wasn't a giant worm. It was just a normal worm that breathed fire, and he's like, oh shit. Tries to step on it, slithers away, maybe there's a little one like that. And he's like, oh, that's cute. And then there's a really, it's not absolutely huge, like the size of a bear, except longer. You know what I mean? So big enough to be a threat. And so he fights this fireworm, and he barely defeats it because he's already fucking tired. And he finds Diana Strange, who's like alone in this big field, desperately trying to raise a tree from the ground. And he's trying to talk to her, but she's kind of just ignoring him and just telling him that she needs to focus and to protect her while she does this. And so he's fighting off these little fireworms as she's trying to raise this tree. And she finally gets up and collapses from the effort. And this massive, big oak tree sprouts from the ground. And it seems like, okay, she finally did what she wanted to do. Maybe she could, slowly reforest the green, or the burning this way. And almost immediately a massive, so the other fireworms were big. This one is like the size of, I don't know, a semi truck, or like an 18-wheeler. A bus.
Absolutely huge, long, massive fucking worm that's, huge. Yeah. Comes out of the ground under from where the tree is, eating the whole tree as it's going up, and lighting it on fire as well.
Cool.
So that's
a really cool image.
Yeah.
To see it's the tree is going down its gullet, and as it's going, as it's swallowing it, it just catches fire and burns to cinder.
Yeah.
That's a very, very cool image.
So
I love these fireworms.
The giant fireworm is now here, so they gotta fuck that thing up. Hort is fighting it, but is getting his ass kicked. Diana Strange is kind of out of commission because she's so tired from raising the tree in the first place. And, just as it seems like it's going to go really bad for Hort, that's when French, Priscilla, and Nog arrive. And they have this epic battle with this massive fireworm. Lots of swords and arrows and cool
axes
shit. At some point, Nog's going to, jump down its fucking gullet with 2 axes, because that's just the way things have got to go. And just, clawing at it from the inside, but somehow still alive.
Because of the potions. And he's just that good. He stabs it in its fire bladder. That's where it keeps all the fire.
And the epic battle is going to end when Diana grows another tree straight out of the ground through the creature, stabbing it through the middle of it. And she'll collapse again, obviously, because it's a lot of effort. But faintly watches as her new tree erupts in flames again, and they drag her out of the burning.
Oh, I thought the tree was going to be it was going to grow a flower.
No. Maybe there's a flower, and then ignites.
Oh, that'd be cool if it like sprouts this beautiful flower and everybody kind of looks at it and they're like, oh, that's so sweet. And then it catches on fire immediately and they're like, oh yeah, this place fucking sucks. This is effectively hell that we're trying to hang out in for some reason.
For some reason. They want to save the princess, John, or
I know.
Gotta save the princess. They don't really. Also, well, we'll get into it in a second because that episode ends. Episode 2, they're camping just outside the burning when Diana wakes up and explains that she was trying to reforest the area. Which Hort immediately jumps into an epic speech about how, you can't just reforest it. We have to go to the capital city. We have to kill the evil wizard to ruin his dark magic and reach the capital and save Princess Liana. And Diana doesn't really believe him. She's like, that just seems like a load of horse shit. But Sir French is like, yeah, no, that's true. And Priscilla is the one that really confirms it because she explains that she was an old ranger for the king, and she was away when it happened, and she was sad because she wasn't able to save the king. And
now she lives in exile because she allowed her king to be killed, and Nog goes, Nog.
Exact. I have that written here. Nog, like, as they're all getting sad and stuff and, like, saying this, and she finishes her story, Nog just says, Nog.
I think it'd be very funny if she's, like, really getting emotional, and she's kind of tearing up a little bit, and he's sitting there, and they're all, listening to her, and they're all kind of somber looking. He puts his hand on her shoulder, right? And, like, kind of with a gleam in his eye, he says, Nog. And then he just tans his drink. He just, like, I don't know why, Nog strikes me as the kind of guy who has a tankard of beer at all times. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense where he's getting the beer from, but he's just got one at all times.
Maybe he gives her, he says Nog, and then he gives her the tankard of beer, and then she downs it.
Yes. And then she downs it, and then he says, Nog! And I love Nog. What can I say?
Nog and Priscilla are going to be best friends. It's going to be great. She agrees. Diana agrees to travel with them because, they're on the same kind of mission she is. She wants to reforest this area. They're going to kill the wizard that is making it impossible to reforest. But they all plan on waiting for the low season to start the next day. So, like, the first, shoots of winter are coming up. It's like the first official day of winter. So they're like, okay, that's when we can finally go into the burning without it being so terrible. They're still going to need their potions. And at this time, Sir John's going to give Hort one and explain, like, okay, you just sort of have to, you just got to take little sips of this every day. Don't drink too much because we only have so much of it. But, just a little
cut to Nog drinking the entire bottle.
Yeah.
Nog.
Come here. He's a dwarf. Maybe we could say that he's fire resistant naturally or something.
I think that's a good thing. Or he really doesn't like the potion, and so they have to sneak it into his beer.
Yeah.
Every morning, his breakfast beer.
Oh, that could be good. Maybe they don't. Maybe either he's naturally resistant to it, or they think he's naturally resistant to it, but he's not. It's just that his beer is brewed from the same stuff that makes the potion. Which is maybe later, good. Like maybe later in the show, they'll run out of the fire potion, and they'll like not know what to do, and maybe they think they're all gonna die, so they're just drinking the beer, and they're like, wait a second, we're not dying. What is this? Like, what's happening? And they'll realize that I don't know, this burning flour that he's using to brew his beer on the go. It'd be kind of funny if he had like a little tiny like backpack that's brewing this beer at all times.
Yeah, he's just, because he's a dwarf. Like, they're all mechanical and technological. So he's like he's built this, intricate brewing, system in his backpack instead of having like food or medical supplies or anything else. It's just all brewing equipment. And I do think that would present a very funny opportunity for them to be like doing a mission or a misadventure side quest or whatever. And the only way that they can do it is by getting absolutely tanked. Like, they're just fucked up by the end because they have to keep drinking the beer. Yeah. And it's dwarven strength beer, so it's like 15% or something like that. And they're just like, by the end.
The percentage. Okay, yeah, okay. And then, okay, so we got the potion. They're gonna go into the burning this time again with like a huge crowd of people from the inn that are also going in. Not all of them are going in to like go save the princess. A lot of them are going in to loot and steal shit and win glory and stuff. And they reach the first sort of small town where they face flaming bats that end up killing half of the people that just left from the tavern. And they'll eventually track down the where the bats are coming from.
And of course, all of the people who are in the tavern, they're all going to be like super self-righteous, be like, we're the greatest adventuring party in the blah 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 blah, right? In a direct juxtaposition with our ragtag heroes, and also they'll all be references to other fantasy properties. You're gonna have an Aragorn there. We'll have a Legolas. We'll have a Gimli, right? And they get immediately ripped in half by these giant fire bats, just dead in the most horrific way possible.
Flying right fucking
just a little
through 'em.
fuck you. Yeah.
And so
middle finger to JRR.
They'll find out that the bats are coming from this tower, and they'll finally reach the tower, and they'll find that there's this weird fucking crazy flaming bat lady monster that is in there, and the bats are like shooting out of her body, like from like the robes of her body. It doesn't really make any sense, but that's what's happening.
It's magic.
And they end up the only way they can kill her is by lobbing off her head, like Medusa sort of thing. And for some reason, Nog just is taking her head around with them for the rest of the show.
Doesn't do anything. It's not like
it will do something.
Oh,
we won't see it until the end of the show, which I'll explain where the show's going next.
It's Chekhov's decapitated woman.
Yeah,
I
just like the idea of him like carrying
this
head around for like the entire time, and it just seems so useless. And at the very they get this in like episode 2, and you don't figure out what it's for until like the end of the last episode. Like, oh shit, that's why he had this thing. Like, okay.
That lends itself perfectly to so many lovely comedic moments, right? They're all sleeping, right? Somebody wakes up in the middle of the night, and they're like, or they wake up first thing in the morning, and they're like, oh, good morning, sweetie. And they, like, in a sleepy daze, they kiss the face in front of them, then they open their eyes, and they realize it's a fucking dead, it's a decapitated woman.
Yeah.
Shit. God damn it, Nog.
Okay. Jeez.
Nog. I also think if you wanted to make the gross bat woman even grosser, you could do like those toads that give birth through their backs, and she's got like a bunch of holes in her back, and that's where all the bats fly out of. If you wanted to be nasty with it, be a little gross, a little grimy, little. But sorry, I interrupted.
Okay, so the way the show's gonna end, they're gonna reach the castle, finding it's like this hellish battlefield full of burning soldiers that are still fighting them, and they'll fight to the throne room, fighting off all these monsters and soldiers and burning knights and stuff, where they'll find the princess is in a petrified battle with the sorcerer. So they're both just frozen right next to the throne. And they'll find that the burning is caused by this spell that the evil sorcerer, so he froze time so that, because like the sword is like inches away from his face, right? Or his chest or something. And he froze time, and the spell that froze time is using the burning, like the cost of the spell was burning all of this area. And because the spell is still running, that's why everything's still burning.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
So, for time's frozen, nature, everything, destroyed near the castle. The sorcerer, however, because this seems like a bad deal for him. He's just frozen forever. Kind of, but not really. He can move around in this sort of like ghostly shadow form. So his real, his human mortal form is still there frozen with the princess, and he can't do anything about that. But he can still kind of like move around as like this sort of ghostly thing, and he can control monsters, and he can still use magic and everything. So they now
we'll
have to battle like the shadow wizard. Yeah, we'll have seen him throughout the show, like watching them and doing things and such.
Maybe riding on the back of a big gross worm, and then they kill the worm, and they're like, "Where's its rider?" And they can't find him, right? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Little hints for the pay attention audience.
So they have to fight the shadow wizard while also fighting like his minions. And as they fight him and his, the monsters and everything else he's conjuring up, he's getting weaker and weaker. And so eventually, when he's so weak that he can't even hold his shadowy form anymore, he'll like try one last, powerful blast to try to kill them. But they'll survive and stab him again, and the time spell will stop. Will like fail, and all the fires will go out, and just as Hort stabs the shadow sorcerer, the princess is going to stab the real sorcerer at the same time. So we'll see them like matched up together, stabbing in the same spot. And this will be how, they save the day, the fires stop, and the whole kingdom is a mess, but it's starting to, grow and rebuild the plants. And it's
at least it can get better now.
Yeah.
It's not just like permanently fucked.
Yeah, no, it's still like, the landscape is somewhat scorched and everything, but we have this, this forest wizard who's going to help, get everything back. People are starting to slowly come back in. The princess is still alive, so she's, in charge and going to rebuild her kingdom and everything.
Yeah. Very nice.
Very, very fun.
A little bit of fun.
Little simple show. That's The Burning. Now, Charlie, we, of course, have to cast ourselves in this show, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it works logistically. Who do you want to be?
I want to... You know who I want to be.
You're gonna be Nog?
I want to be Nog.
You want to be Nog?
I want to be Nog.
You want to be Nog. Okay. You can be the voice of Nog, just saying Nog all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of want to be someone that's killed by one of the flaming bats. But
I was also thinking that.
I kind of also want to be someone that dies in the original, like the song, that's playing at the beginning of the show. I want to be in the heavy metal song. Somebody that just gets wiped out by the inferno
with a big mallet.
Yeah, maybe like when they're showing the fire like spreading everywhere and igniting everything. I'm doing, I don't know, like it's just me like taking a shit or something.
Yeah, it's something embarrassing. You're doing something embarrassing like recording a podcast.
Yeah, that would be funny actually. That'd be hilarious. Just us recording a podcast and the fire ignites us and kills us.
And the
we're
fire
recording
just
like a
kills
medieval
us both.
podcast. Like I don't even know how that would work, but we're like just sitting.
We're
magic. Sitting on a stage and people are like, there's like 4 people like in the audience watching.
And they're like, this is bad. I wouldn't watch this show.
Yeah, someone would be like, I would rather the whole town just suddenly combusted than listen to this shit. Boom.
And listen to you morons. Well, fucking be careful what you wish for. And then we all die. And we're skeletons. And we're wearing our dumb headphones. And we're like, yeah, we're dead now. Awesome. And then we crumble. And then Jack Black comes in and he starts singing.
He does. He's screaming the lyrics. Who do you think should play Hort? I don't really know a lot of young actors, to be honest.
Tom Holland.
I think might be too old. Might be just a touch too old. Because he's like, what? He's like 20. He's older than me. He's
older than us, yeah.
How old is Tom Holland?
He's 26.
Is he
26? 26 something? He's 35.
He's 35?
No, fucking course not. That would be insane.
He's 28.
He's 28. All right. It would be crazy if he was 35 right now. That would be insane.
I can't think of any famous young actors.
40 years. Baby Gronk. That's the closest thing.
Gronk.
Baby Gronk, Kai Cenat, get streamers in.
When I look up young actors, they give me old actors that put their young photos. So that's interesting.
That's dumb. I would like Robert De Niro to play him, but Robert De Niro 40 years ago.
I don't know. Somebody young and well, actually, who I want? I want the guy that played Percy Jackson in the original movie?
Yeah.
I want him when he was younger. That's
all right. Cool.
I want him to be Hort. Sir John French. Who's John French? He's got to be someone cool, suave.
I was gonna say he's got to be someone like.
So I
don't know.
What's his name? Would have been great. Who's James Bond? Not Daniel Craig.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Craig actually.
Daniel
Radcliffe. What the fuck? That's Harry Potter. Who's the Scottish guy that played James Bond?
Sean Connery?
Sean Connery. Young Sean Connery. Not
Young
super
Sean
young. James
Connery.
Bond aged Sean Connery should be.
Yeah, in his 30s,
John
Sean
French.
Connery. Late 30s, early 40s, Sean Connery would be great. And who's Mistress Strange?
Diana Strange.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
I don't
Doing
know.
his best girl voice.
Now I'm thinking of James Bond, so I'm going to say Eva Green. Eva Green.
All right, Eva Green's great. She's awesome. I've never seen
You're
Eva Green
already
do
Nog,
a
obviously,
bad job.
so that's
Yeah.
already set.
So
and
here
then
we are.
it's just Priscilla is the last one. Priscilla. We need someone with red hair. There's a female actress with red hair.
What's her name?
Amy Adams is the only one I can think of right
she's,
now, but that would work.
Not Amy Adams.
Isla Fisher
That's not red
wouldn't
hair.
Either.
She's
red
in a
hair.
lot of stuff. She's great.
Karen Gillan, maybe.
Karen Gillan. That wasn't who I was thinking of, but Karen Gillan's also great.
Someone else might be
Karen
better.
Gillan.
I can't think of another actress with red hair. Oh, actually, you know what? She was in what was that shitty Dungeons and Dragons movie? Dungeons and Dragons.
The new
movie.
one?
Yeah, the one that was bad. Honor Among Thieves.
I liked it. Honor Among Thieves. You didn't like it?
Sophia Lillis. She'll be the last
right.
person. Boom.
Cool. She's great. She's great in
okay.
everything I've seen her in, which is Dungeons and Dragons. And that's it. Oh, she was Nancy. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna stop
Nancy
looking at her
Pelosi.
IMDb. I like that show. She was Nancy Pelosi? No, she was Nancy Drew. I really like that show. I didn't expect it to go where it went, right? I didn't think you were going to do a fantasy show, but I think it's fun.
What
this
did you think I
feels
was
like a
gonna do?
very classic... I thought you were going to go with the burner phone idea, because I got the idea for the title The Burner from watching... I saw a clip online of Better Call Saul, and Saul Goodman selling a guy burner phones. And I was like, a burner phone is such a perfect device for crime, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, So, but I'm glad with where it went. It was cool. It was fun. The Burning. It feels very classic VRP.
It does.
Very reasonable penis. I am choosing 3 for my title.
Oh.
Go on.
3. Wait. Oh shit! I don't have my. Wait. Let me grab my list.
Nah, take your time. Take your time. I got all the time in the world, baby.
I've got it. My list
All
is
the time
here.
in the world. Okay. Awesome.
You picked number 3.
Number 3.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, is that the name of the show? Oh boy.
You're not gonna like this one. Are you sure you want to pick 3?
Yes, I'm sure.
You really want to
Now
nail
I'm
that
sure.
down? I can't believe
Hell
I wrote
yeah.
this in here. Are you? Your title is
I'm ready.
The Transatlantic Sleep Marine.
Oh my shit. Okay, I need to write this down. The
Transatlantic Sleep
Atlantic Sleep Marine.
Good luck with that one.
Shit, man. Oh my god. Transatlantic Sleep Marine. All right. Oh fuck me.
I don't know what you're gonna do with that.
So if you want to hear whatever the hell I do with that, come back next week. And thank you everyone for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I've been your host, Charles Long, and with me as always, my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, gunner, navigator, orator, and podcasting associate, Jacob Gloth. You like what you heard here, you want to hear more, please give us a like, a follow, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog, tell your cat. And we'll be here next week with the Transatlantic Sleep Marine.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
All right. That was awesome. I'm excited. I've already got an idea brewing in my little noggin. Yeah, so have a good one, everyone.
Bye.